My son-in-law yelled, "Pay the rent or get out." So I left, quietly. He didn't know I owned the house, and by the time he found out, I had already sold it for $900,000. But let me back up. Let me tell you how we got here. Let me tell you what it feels like to watch your own daughter forget where she came from. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. 3 weeks ago, I was standing in what used to be my driveway, the one I paved myself 20 years back, holding 2 garbage bags full of my clothes. Dylan Warren, all 6'2" of manufactured confidence and borrowed money, stood on the porch with his arms crossed like he was guarding Fort Knox instead of a 4-bedroom colonial I bought in 1998. "You heard me, old man," he said, loud enough for the Hendersons next door to hear. Mrs. Henderson was pretending to check her mailbox, again, for the 3rd time in 10 minutes. "Either you start paying rent like everyone else, or you pack your stuff and go." My daughter Olivia stood behind him, arms wrapped around herself, looking anywhere but at me. She had her mother's eyes, but none of her spine. 34 years old, PR director at some downtown firm, always dressed like she was about to have lunch with a senator. Today, she wore cream-colored slacks and a silk blouse that probably cost more than my first car. "Liv," I said, keeping my voice steady, "you want to tell him, or should I?" She flinched. Actually flinched, like I'd raised my hand. "Dad, please," she whispered. Dylan's right. We've been more than generous letting you stay here rent-free for 6 months. We have expenses. The mortgage, I repeated. The word tasted like copper in my mouth. "Right." Dylan stepped forward, chest puffed out. He was wearing a polo shirt with some tech company logo I'd never heard of. Probably another one of his investments that would belly up in 6 months like all the others. "Listen, Gregory, I understand. Aging isn't easy, and retirement didn't turn out the way you expected. But Olivia and I have our own lives to build. We can't keep supporting someone who isn't contributing." I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. Searched her face for any sign of the girl who used to sit on my shoulders at the county fair, who cried when I taught her to ride a bike because she thought she'd disappoint me if she fell. Nothing. Just expensive makeup and practiced indifference. "Okay," I said. Dylan blinked. "Okay? Okay, I'll go." I saw the surprise flicker across his face. He'd expected a fight. Expected yelling, maybe tears, definitely begging. That's what he wanted. A scene. Something to make him feel powerful in front of the neighbors, in front of my daughter, in front of himself. I didn't give it to him. Instead, I picked up my 2 garbage bags, walked to my truck, the '09 Silverado I bought used and maintained like it was a Rolls-Royce, and set them carefully in the bed. My back complained, the old injury from the demolition site in '03, the one that never quite healed right. But I didn't let it show. "Greg," Dylan called out, and I hated how he shortened my name like we were buddies. "No hard feelings, right? This is just business." I turned back, looked at him standing there on my porch, in front of my door, on my property. He had no idea, no clue, and that made what came next so much sweeter. "Sure, Dylan," I said. "Just business." I climbed into my truck. The engine turned over smooth as silk. I'd replaced the starter motor myself last month. Through the windshield, I watched Olivia put her hand on Dylan's arm, watched him lean down and kiss the top of her head like they'd just won something. My phone buzzed. Text from my wife, Eleanor. "Come home." Home. Funny word for the apartment we'd been renting for the last 6 months. The place we moved to when Olivia called, crying, saying they were underwater on their bills, saying they needed help, saying family helps family. So I'd helped. Signed over the house to her name. Temporarily, she'd promised. "Just until we get back on our feet, Dad. Just until Dylan's investment comes through." I shifted into reverse, backed out of the driveway carefully, waved at Mrs. Henderson. She looked away. As I drove down Maple Street, past the houses I'd seen built over 25 years, past the oak tree the neighborhood planted when Mr. Chen passed away, past the corner store where I used to buy Olivia candy for good report cards, something calm and icy settled in my chest. Not rage. Rage is hot, stupid, impulsive. This was different. This was architectural. 20 minutes later, I pulled up to the apartment complex on Riverside, 3rd floor, end unit, overlooking the parking lot. Eleanor was waiting by the window. She moved the curtain aside when she saw me, and even from down in the lot, I could read her expression. She'd heard. Small town. Everybody knows everybody. Mrs. Henderson probably had her phone out before I'd even backed out of the driveway. I grabbed my bags and headed up. The stairwell smelled like old carpet and somebody's cooking, something with too much garlic. By the time I reached our door, Eleanor had it open. She looked at me for a long moment. Eleanor Baldridge, 59, former legal assistant before the firm downsized, still sharp as a knife. Gray hair she refused to dye, reading glasses on a chain around her neck, wearing the same jeans and flannel shirt she'd had since the 90s. "Don't," I said. I wasn't going to say anything. "Yes, you were." She smiled. Thin, hard, knowing. "Maybe, but not what you think." I dropped the bags inside. Our apartment was small, clean but small. Living room, kitchenette, bedroom, bathroom. We'd sold most of our furniture when we moved here. "Temporarily," Olivia had said. "Just for a few months." 6 months ago. Eleanor closed the door, locked it, turned to face me with her arms crossed. "They didn't just steal your kindness," she said quietly. "They wasted it. Do what you need to do." I stared at her. "What?" "You heard me." She walked past me toward the bedroom, then paused in the doorway. "The storage unit key is in the top drawer. Second box from the left, under the Christmas decorations. Everything you need is there." Then she was gone, leaving me standing in the middle of our tiny living room, heart hammering against my ribs. The storage unit. I'd rented it 3 months ago, right around the time Dylan started making comments about how I should contribute more to the household. Right around the time Olivia stopped calling me Dad and started calling me Gregory in front of her friends. Right around the time I realized what they were doing. I found the key exactly where Eleanor said it would be. Small, brass, attached to a keychain from a hardware store that went out of business in 2010. The storage facility was 15 minutes away, tucked behind the old industrial park where my company used to have its yard. I still knew the security guard, Tommy Chen, son of the Mr. Chen who used to run the corner store. He waved me through without question. My unit was climate-controlled, 10 by 10, combination lock I'd memorized. Inside, boxes, carefully labeled, organized with the same precision I used to apply to demolition blueprints. The second box from the left, just like Eleanor said. I opened it. Property deed. Original, not a copy. Filed with the county in 1998. My name in black ink. LLC documents. Formation papers for Baldridge property holdings. Created 3 years ago when I started planning my retirement. Signed loan agreements. Dylan's signature. Olivia's signature. Witnessed, notarized, legal. Bank statements. Wire transfers. Email printouts. Text message screenshots. And at the very bottom, wrapped in plastic, a small digital voice recorder. I picked it up. Pressed play. Dylan's voice, crystal clear. "Pay the rent or get out." I'd been recording for weeks, just in case. Old habit from the contracting business. Always document everything, especially when you don't trust the other party. I sat there on the concrete floor of that storage unit, surrounded by the evidence of my daughter's betrayal and my son-in-law's stupidity, and I started to laugh. Not a happy laugh, not even an angry one. The laugh of a man who just realized he's been playing chess while everyone else thought it was checkers. Eleanor didn't ask questions when I came back to the apartment. She was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open, reading glasses perched on her nose, Same position she used to take when she reviewed contracts at the law firm. "Coffee?" she asked without looking up. "Please." She poured me a cup. Black, no sugar. The way I'd been drinking it since I was 20. I sat down across from her. The table was one of the few pieces of furniture we'd kept. Solid oak, built in the 50s, heavy enough to survive nuclear war. I'd bought it at an estate sale when Olivia was 3. "I found the box," I said. "I know." "How long have you known?" Now she looked up. "About what they were planning? Since February? Since Dylan started asking me about property law when you weren't around?" "February. 4 months ago. Right around the time they'd convinced me to sign over the house." "You didn't tell me. Would you have believed me?" Eleanor closed the laptop. "Or would you have thought I was being paranoid about our daughter?" She was right. I would have defended Olivia, made excuses. "Family helps family," I would have said. "She's just going through a rough patch." "They thought they were clever," Eleanor continued. "Dylan especially. He kept asking me these hypothetical questions about tenant rights, about adverse possession, about how long someone needs to occupy a property before they can claim ownership. And you played along. I gave him just enough information to make him confident." She smiled, and there was no warmth in it. "I also started making copies of everything. Every document you signed, every conversation I overheard, every text message Olivia sent me about transitioning Dad out of the house. Transitioning. Like I was a piece of furniture they were donating to Goodwill." "How much did you keep?" "All of it." She tapped her laptop. "Scanned, encrypted, backed up in 3 locations. I also started documenting their expenses, the cars they lease but claim they own, the credit cards they maxed out, the business loans they took out in your name without telling you." "My name." "What?" Eleanor pulled up a spreadsheet, rows and rows of numbers, dates, amounts. "Dylan registered a business last year. Warren Investments, LLC, claimed you as a founding partner, put your social security number on the application." I felt cold. "That's identity. Fraud. Yes, but it gets better." She scrolled down. "He used that business to apply for loans, small ones at first. 5,000 here, 10,000 there, then bigger. A $50,000 line of credit from First National, a $30,000 equipment loan from Regional Trust." "Equipment?" "Mining rigs. For cryptocurrency. They're in the garage. Or they were. He sold most of them 3 months ago, when the market crashed. Never paid back the loans." I stared at the numbers. They didn't feel real. Couldn't be real. "The house," I said slowly. "They put it up as collateral. On 2 of the loans, yes. So if I still owned it, the bank could seize it. But you don't own it. Olivia does. Because you signed it over to her." I sat back. The chair creaked. "You knew this would happen." "I suspected. I started documentation 3 months ago, when Dylan asked me how hard it would be to evict a family member from a property they used to own." She looked at me over her reading glasses. "That's when I knew what they were planning." 3 months. She'd known for 3 months and hadn't said a word. "Why didn't you warn me?" "Because you needed to see it yourself. You needed to watch your daughter choose him over you. You needed to stand in that driveway with everyone watching while Dylan humiliated you." Eleanor's voice didn't rise, but it hardened. "You needed to stop seeing her as your little girl and start seeing her as what she is." "Which is?" "A woman who learned to use people from her husband, who traded her integrity for a silk blouse and a house she didn't earn." Eleanor closed the laptop. "I love my daughter. I always will. But love doesn't mean pretending. Love means seeing someone clearly and acting accordingly." I thought about Olivia, about the girl who used to draw me pictures at kindergarten, about the teenager who asked my advice before every big decision, about the young woman who cried at my retirement party and said I was her hero. When had that changed? "It was gradual," Eleanor said, reading my mind like she'd been doing for 37 years. "Dylan was good at it. Started small. Little comments about how we were old-fashioned. how he didn't understand modern economics, how successful people took risks and made hard decisions. And Olivia believed him. Olivia wanted to believe him. There's a difference. Eleanor stood up, walked to the window. She wanted the life he promised, the parties, the reputation, the illusion of wealth, and he gave it to her, as long as she was willing to sacrifice everything else, including us. So what now? I asked. Eleanor turned back. Behind her, through the window, the parking lot stretched out under the afternoon sun. A kid on a bike, a woman carrying groceries. Normal life, happening like nothing was wrong. Now? Eleanor's smile returned, sharp as broken glass. Now you stop reacting and start acting. Now you remember who you were before you became someone's father, before you became someone who could be pushed around and thrown out. I was a demolition contractor. You were the best demolition contractor in the state. You could look at a building and know exactly where to hit it, exactly which wall to remove, exactly how to bring the whole thing down, safely, legally, perfectly. I understood. This is the same thing. This is exactly the same thing, except instead of a building, you're dismantling their life, piece by piece, support beam by support beam, until everything they built on your foundation comes crashing down. That's not nice, I said. Nice? Eleanor laughed. Actually laughed. Nice is what got you standing in a driveway with trash bags. Nice is what cost you your house. Nice is what made them think they could treat you like garbage. She was right. Of course she was right. I already made the first call, I said. Eleanor raised an eyebrow. Oh? Real estate agent. Guy I know from the Rotary Club. Told him I wanted to sell the house on Maple Street. Fast sale, cash buyer preferred, willing to go below market value for a quick close. The house you don't own? The house I do own. I pulled out my phone, showed her the screen. Olivia signed the deed over to me, temporarily, her words. But the document she signed? It wasn't temporary at all. It was a full transfer back to me, with her signature notarized. Eleanor's eyes widened. When? 3 months ago. Same day you started documenting. Remember when she came by to pick up those boxes from the storage unit? I had her sign something. Told her it was insurance paperwork. She didn't read it. My wife stared at me. Then she started laughing. Real laughter this time, deep and genuine. You sneaky old man. Learned from the best. I reached across the table, took her hand. I'm going to dismantle them, Eleanor. Carefully, legally, completely. The way I used to bring down buildings. No explosions, no drama, just precision. How long? 30 days, maybe less. And when they find out? They already are. My phone buzzed. Text message from a number I didn't recognize. I opened it. Mr. Baldridge, this is Patricia Hendricks from First National Bank. We need to discuss the property at 2547 Maple Street regarding outstanding loan obligations in default. Please call at your earliest convenience. I showed Eleanor. She read it and smiled. It's starting, she said. Yes, I agreed. It is. The real estate agent's name was Marcus Holland, and he moved fast. By Friday afternoon, 3 days after Dylan threw me out, he called with news. Got a buyer, cash offer, $890,000. I was sitting in my truck outside the hardware store, halfway through a list of supplies I didn't actually need, just keeping busy, staying visible, acting normal. That's $40,000 below market, I said. You told me you wanted fast. How fast? Inspection waived. Closing in 2 weeks, maybe 10 days if we push. Push. You got it, Greg. Papers will be ready Monday. Oh, and one thing. Yeah? The buyer asked if the current occupants plan to stay. I told them the property would be vacant by closing. That's still accurate, right? I thought about Dylan and Olivia, sitting in what they thought was their house, probably celebrating their victory over the old man who finally knew his place. That's accurate, I said. I hung up and stared through the windshield at the hardware store. Samuelson's, been there since the 70s. I used to buy all my supplies here back when I was running jobs. Earl Samuelson still worked the counter at 83, stubborn as a mule and twice as ornery. My phone rang again. Different number. I answered. Mr. Baldridge? Woman's voice, professional, slightly nervous. This is Jennifer Park from Regional Trust. I'm calling about account number ending in 4729. The equipment loan, Dylan's cryptocurrency adventure. I'm listening. Sir, this account is 90 days past due. The outstanding balance is $32,418. We've sent multiple notices to the business address on file, but we haven't received any response. What's the business address? Papers rustling. 2547 Maple Street. That's also listed as the collateral property. I see. And what happens if the loan defaults? At 120 days past due, we begin foreclosure proceedings on the collateral. How many days are we at now? 93. 27 days. Less than a month before the bank could start seizing the house. Except they couldn't. Because in 10 days, the house would be sold. Ms. Park, I appreciate the call, but I need to inform you that I'm not the primary borrower on this loan. My information was used without my authorization. Silence. Then, Sir, your social security number is on the application. Your signature is on the documents. I never signed anything for Warren Investments. I never authorized the use of my personal information, and I suggest you contact your fraud department because someone's been forging my signature. More silence. Mr. Baldridge, that's a serious allegation. Yes, it is. I'll be filing a police report this week. I'll make sure your office gets a copy. I'll need to escalate this to my supervisor. You do that? And Ms. Park? When you talk to your supervisor, make sure you let them know the collateral property is being sold. Closing in 10 days. But sir, if the property is collateral on an active loan, then you better figure out who really borrowed that money, because it wasn't me. I hung up. 2 phone calls, 2 cracks in their foundation. I started the truck and drove across town to the storage unit. Inside, I pulled out the 3rd box from the left. This one contained copies of every financial document related to Olivia and Dylan over the past 3 years. Credit card statements, $53,000 in debt. Car leases, 2 vehicles, combined $800 a month. Business filings, Warren Investments, LLC, registered agent, Dylan Warren. Tax returns, joint filing, claiming income they didn't have from investments that didn't exist. Insurance policies, life, auto, home, all with me listed as guarantor or cosigner, all in default. My phone rang again. I was starting to feel popular. Dad? Olivia. First time she'd called me Dad in months. What do you want? We got a call from the bank. They said something about the house being sold. I waited. Dad, please tell me that's a mistake. Tell me you didn't what, Olivia? Sell our house. Your house? Interesting. Last time we spoke, Dylan told me to pay rent or get out. Sounds like he didn't think it was my house. Dad, please. This isn't funny. We have equity in this property. We've been making mortgage payments. Have you? Because according to First National, you're 4 months behind. Silence. Long, heavy silence. That's temporary, she finally said. Dylan's got investments about to pay off. We're just in a cash flow situation. A cash flow situation. Is that what they're calling it now? Dad, I'm serious. If you sold the house without telling us, without telling you, Olivia, I owned that house for 27 years. I built the deck, I installed the kitchen, I replaced the roof, twice. And 3 days ago, your husband threw me out like trash while the neighbors watched. He didn't mean it like that. How did he mean it? He was stressed. The business has been difficult lately, and having you there was adding tension. I'm sure it was. Hard to steal someone's house when they're living in it. We're not stealing anything. You gave it to us. You signed it over. Did I? You might want to check those papers again, sweetheart. Read the fine print. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the document you signed 3 months ago. The one you thought was insurance paperwork. The one that transferred the property back to me. I could hear her breathing. Sharp, quick, panicked. That's not... You tricked me. No, Olivia. I trusted you to read what you were signing, just like you trusted me when I bought that house with money I earned from jobs that destroyed my back, just like you trusted me when I paid for your college, your wedding, your car, your life. Dad, the house closes in 10 days. $890,000. Cash buyer. You and Dylan need to be out by the 15th. You can't do this. I already did. I hung up. The phone rang again immediately. I declined the call. It rang again, declined. Again, again, again. Finally, I turned it off. In the silence of the storage unit surrounded by boxes of evidence and years of accumulated betrayal, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace, not happiness, not satisfaction, just cold, clear, purposeful peace. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly where this was going, and I knew exactly how it would end. Dylan showed up at the apartment Saturday morning. I watched him from the window, pacing in the parking lot, working up his nerve. Finally, he climbed the stairs. The knock was aggressive. 3 hard bangs that shook the door frame. Eleanor looked up from her crossword puzzle. Want me to answer it? No. Let him knock. He knocked again. Harder. I waited until he'd knocked a 3rd time, then walked over and opened the door exactly 4 inches. Enough to talk. Not enough to enter. Dylan looked terrible. Unshaven, wearing yesterday's clothes, eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep. Good. We need to talk, he said. About what? You know exactly what. The house, the sale, this whole situation. What situation? His jaw clenched. Don't play games with me, old man. You can't sell property you don't own. Can I? You want to see the deed? The transfer papers Olivia signed? They're all legal. All notarized. All filed with the county. She didn't know what she was signing. That's not my problem. Maybe she should read things before she signs them. Maybe you should have taught her that. Dylan's hands curled into fists. You're making a big mistake. Am I? Because from where I'm standing, the only mistake was trusting my daughter. Trusting you. Thinking family meant something. We gave you a place to live. You mean I gave you a place to live. In my house. That I paid for. That I maintained. That I built with my own hands while you were still in elementary school. That's not... Pay the rent or get out. Remember saying that? Funny how things change. His face went red. You spiteful piece of... I closed the door. He pounded on it. We're not done talking. Yes, we are. Eleanor didn't look up from her puzzle. He'll be back. I know. With lawyers, probably. Let him. Every document is clean. Every signature is real. Every transfer is legal. She filled in a word. What about the bank? What about them? They're going to figure out Dylan forged your signature on those loans. Yes, they are. And then? And then Dylan has a much bigger problem than losing the house. My phone buzzed. I'd turned it back on an hour ago. Text from Marcus Holland. Buyer pushed for earlier closing. Can we do Thursday? Thursday. 6 days from now. I texted back, yes. Eleanor watched me. Moving fast. No reason to wait. They'll panic. Good. She smiled and went back to her puzzle. Monday morning, I drove to the police station. Small building on 3rd Street, brick facade, parking lot that needed repaving. Officer Martinez at the front desk recognized me. We'd worked together on a charity build 5 years back. Greg Baldridge. Haven't seen you in a while. What can I do for you? Need to file a report. Identity fraud. His expression changed. Professional now. Come on back. I spent 90 minutes walking him through everything. The business Dylan registered in my name, the loans he took out, the signatures he forged. I had copies of everything. The loan applications, the business filings, samples of my real signature for comparison. Martinez took notes, asked questions, made copies. This is pretty serious, Greg. You're talking about felony fraud. Multiple counts. I know what I'm talking about. You understand what happens if we pursue this? Your son-in-law could face prison time. He's not my son-in-law. He's a man who married my daughter and then decided to steal everything I built. Martinez nodded slowly. Okay. I'll need to pass this to the fraud division. They'll probably want to interview you again, and they'll definitely want to talk to Dylan Warren. That's fine. Greg, one more thing. Your daughter's name is on some of these documents too. If we investigate Dylan, we might have to investigate her as well. I'd thought about this, spent 3 sleepless nights thinking about it. Do what needs to be done, I said. I left the station and drove to the house on Maple Street. Parked across the street, 3 houses down. Dylan's car was in the driveway, Olivia's too, both home in the middle of a Monday, neither at work. Interesting. My phone rang. Number I didn't recognize. I answered. Mr. Baldridge, this is Kevin Park, Regional Trust Fraud Investigation. Officer Martinez forwarded your police report. I need to ask you some questions. Go ahead. You're claiming you never authorized the business registration for Warren Investments, LLC? That's correct. And you never signed the loan application for $32,000? No, someone forged my signature. Do you know who? I have suspicions. Mr. Baldridge, I need you to be direct. Are you accusing Dylan Warren of fraud? I'm saying someone used my information without permission. Someone who had access to my social security number, my address, my personal details. You figure out who that was. Papers rustling on his end. The business address matches your daughter's residence. It does. Mr. Baldridge, I have to ask, is this a family dispute? Because if this is about money you lent them, if this is about repayment, this is about someone forging my signature on legal documents. This is about identity theft. This is about fraud. If you don't want to investigate, tell me now. I'll take it to the state attorney general. No, sir, we'll investigate. But I need to warn you. This could get complicated. Your daughter might be implicated. She's a grown woman. She makes her own choices. Understood. We'll be in touch. He hung up. I sat there in my truck, watching the house. Their house. For 6 more days. The front door opened. Olivia came out, phone pressed to her ear. Even from this distance, I could see she was upset. Arms waving, pacing on the porch. Dylan appeared behind her. They argued. She turned away. He grabbed her arm. I was out of the truck before I realized I was moving. By the time I crossed the street, they'd seen me. Dylan dropped Olivia's arm, stepped back. "Stay away from us," he said. "Take your hands off my daughter. She's my wife. She's my daughter first. Touch her like that again, we'll have a different conversation." Olivia's face was streaked with tears. "Dad, just leave. Please just leave." "What did he do?" "Nothing. He didn't do anything. We were just talking." Looked like more than talking. Dylan stepped forward. "You need to get off my property." "Your property? For 6 more days, maybe. Then it belongs to a nice couple from Ohio. They're paying cash, planning to renovate. Turn this into something worth owning." "This is harassment," Dylan said. "I could call the police." "Go ahead, I was just there. Filed a nice long report about identity theft. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you." His expression shifted. Fear, trying to hide behind anger. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Warren Investments, LLC? Ring a bell? $32,000 in loan debt? My social security number on the paperwork?" Olivia looked at Dylan. "What's he talking about?" "Nothing. He's making things up." "Am I? Funny, the bank doesn't think so. Neither do the police." "Dad, what are you doing?" Olivia's voice cracked. "Why are you trying to destroy us?" "I'm not trying to destroy you. You did that yourselves. I'm just making sure you understand the consequences." "We're your family." "Family doesn't throw each other out like garbage. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie." "We never stole anything." "No? Then explain how Dylan registered a business in my name. Explain the loans. Explain the forged signatures. She looked at Dylan again. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Dylan? He gave me permission, Dylan said quietly. He told me I could use his information for the business. That's a lie. Your word against mine. No, it's your word against notarized documents, bank records, and a police report. Good luck with that. I turned and walked back to my truck, got in, started the engine. Through the windshield, I watched them. Dylan was yelling now, gesturing. Olivia had her hands over her face. Neighbors were watching from windows. Good. Let them watch. Let everyone see what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. Tuesday afternoon, Eleanor and I met with Marcus Holland to sign the closing documents. His office was downtown, third floor of a building that used to be a textile mill. Big windows, exposed brick, trying hard to look modern. Marcus spread the papers across his desk. Everything's in order. Buyer's financing cleared. Cash, like I said. Title search came back clean. We're set for Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Good. Greg, I have to ask. Your daughter knows about this, right? She knows. Because legally, we're required to notify any occupants. I'll handle notification. Marcus looked uncomfortable. I've been doing this 23 years. I've seen family situations before. Usually there's some kind of arrangement, some kind of transition period. There won't be one. The new owners want to start renovations immediately. They'll need the property empty. It will be. Eleanor signed her name on the witness line. Clean, efficient signature. No hesitation. Marcus slid the papers to me. You're sure about this? I signed. Completely. We left his office and drove to the apartment. Eleanor was quiet the whole way, looking out the window at the town sliding past. What are you thinking? I asked. That I'm married to a man who knows how to commit. To what? To finishing what he starts. Back at the apartment, I found an envelope taped to the door. No stamp, no address. Just my name in Olivia's handwriting. Inside was a single page, handwritten letter. Dad, please stop this, please. Dylan made mistakes, I know that. We both did. But this is our home, our life. We have nowhere else to go. Mom, please talk to him. Make him understand we'll pay him back, everything. We'll get jobs, real jobs. We'll fix this. Please don't take our house. Please don't destroy your own daughter. I'm begging you. Liv. I showed it to Eleanor. She read it twice, then folded it carefully and set it on the kitchen table. What are you going to do? She asked. Nothing. She's begging. I know. Gregory. She had 6 months to ask for forgiveness. 6 months to make things right. Instead, they pushed me out, called me useless, and embarrassed me in front of everyone. She's still your daughter. And I'm still her father. Which is why I'm teaching her the most important lesson she'll ever learn. Which is? Actions have consequences. Every choice matters. Every betrayal leaves a mark. Eleanor sat down, picked up the letter again. She sounds desperate. Good. Gregory, I supported this. I helped you plan it. But I need to know. When does it end? When do we stop? I sat across from her. Thursday at 10 a.m., when the papers are signed and the money transfers, when they're standing on the lawn with their belongings in boxes, when they finally understand what they took for granted. And after that, they rebuild. The way I had to rebuild. The way everyone has to rebuild when they lose something they thought they owned. Without our help. Without our help, I agreed. Eleanor nodded slowly, set down the letter. Okay, I just needed to hear you say it. Having second thoughts? No, just making sure you're not. My phone rang. Officer Martinez. Greg, we've got a problem. Dylan Warren just showed up here with a lawyer. They're claiming you coerced your daughter into signing property documents, claiming elder abuse, financial exploitation, the whole 9 yards. I almost laughed. Elder abuse. I know, but his lawyer is making noise. talking about restraining orders, protective custody. It's a mess. What do you need from me? Can you come down? Bring any documentation you have. We need to sort this out before it gets uglier. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up and looked at Eleanor. Dylan hired a lawyer. Smart. Desperate, but smart. They're claiming I exploited Olivia, forced her to sign papers. Do they have any evidence? No, because it didn't happen. Then go, show them the truth. I grabbed the folder from the storage unit. Everything I needed was in there. The original deed, the transfer papers with Olivia's signature, the notary stamps, the dates that proved the timeline. At the police station, Martinez led me to a conference room. Dylan was there with a man in an expensive suit, gray, tailored, probably cost more than my truck. The lawyer stood up when I entered. Mr. Baldridge? I'm Richard Garrison. I represent Dylan Warren and Olivia Baldridge Warren. We have serious concerns about the legitimacy of certain property transfers. I'm sure you do. My clients believe you took advantage of your daughter's trust, that you misrepresented the nature of documents she signed. Your clients are wrong. Do you deny that your daughter signed over property to you? She signed a legal document properly notarized, returning property that I originally owned. Under false pretenses, she believed she was signing insurance paperwork. She believed wrong. Not my problem if she doesn't read what she signs. Garrison's jaw tightened. Mr. Baldridge, are you aware that defrauding a family member is considered elder abuse in this state? Are you aware that I'm 62, not 80? That I ran a successful business for 30 years? That I'm perfectly capable of managing my own affairs? That's not what my clients are alleging. No, what your clients are alleging is that they got caught. They took my house, maxed out credit cards in my name, forged my signature on business loans, and now they're scrambling to avoid the consequences. Dylan stood up. That's a lie. Martinez held up a hand. Everyone sit down. Mr. Garrison, do you have any evidence of coercion? Any proof that Mr. Baldridge misrepresented the document? Garrison pulled out a folder. We have testimony from Olivia Baldridge Warren stating that her father told her the document was related to insurance. We have character witnesses prepared to testify that Mr. Baldridge has become increasingly erratic since his retirement. Character witnesses? I laughed. You mean your friends? People who've known me for 5 minutes? We have Mrs. Henderson from Maple Street. She's prepared to testify that you've been acting strangely, parking outside the house, watching, harassing my clients. I parked on a public street, in a neighborhood I lived in for 25 years. Martinez looked at the folder I'd brought. What do you have, Greg? I spread the documents across the table. Original property deed 1998 showing I purchased the house. Transfer document to Olivia dated 6 months ago with her signature. Return transfer document dated 3 months ago, also with her signature. Both notarized by Sarah Mitchell at First National Bank. Both properly filed with the county recorder's office. Garrison examined them. His expression didn't change, but I saw the calculation in his eyes. He was looking for an angle and not finding one. The signature on the return transfer, he said slowly. Does it match your daughter's signature on other documents? Perfectly. You're welcome to hire a handwriting expert. And the notary? This Sarah Mitchell. She can verify that your daughter appeared before her willingly. She can. Sarah's worked at that bank for 15 years. Impeccable reputation. She noted in her records that Olivia appeared alone, was not under duress, and presented valid identification. Garrison set down the papers. Mr. Baldridge, I'm going to be frank. This doesn't look good for my clients, but I'm prepared to negotiate. What would it take for you to cancel the sale, return the property to your daughter? Nothing. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can offer me. The house closes Thursday. Done deal. Mr. Baldridge, surely we can reach some accommodation. My clients are willing to compensate you for your time, your expenses. With what money? The money they don't have? The credit cards they maxed out? The loans they defaulted on? Dylan slammed his hand on the table. You self-righteous old man! You're doing this because your pride got wounded, because I told you the truth, that you're an older man without money who can't manage on his own. Martinez stood up. Mr. Warren, you need to calm down. No! I'm tired of everyone pretending he's some kind of victim. He gave us that house. It was a gift, and now he's taking it back because we didn't kiss his feet every day. A gift? I kept my voice level. You want to explain to Officer Martinez how a gift works? Because usually when someone gives you a gift, you don't throw them out of it. You don't tell them to pay rent or get out. You don't treat them like trash in front of the neighbors. You were freeloading. In my own house. It wasn't your house anymore. Yes, it was. The paper you thought transferred ownership? Read it again. It transferred the house to Olivia in trust, with reversionary interest to the grantor. That means it reverted back to me automatically after 90 days, unless she refinanced in her own name, which she didn't. Because she couldn't. Because she has no credit and no income. Garrison leaned forward. You told her it was a gift. I told her I was helping her. She assumed gift. Not my problem. That's deceptive practice. No, that's business. Something your client claims to understand. Something he claims to be an expert in. Isn't that right, Dylan? Aren't you an investor? Don't you make deals every day? Dylan's face had gone pale. You planned this. From the beginning. No, from the beginning I trusted you. I believed you when you said you needed help. I believed my daughter when she said it was temporary. I signed over my house because I thought family meant something. Then when did it change? Garrison asked quietly. When Dylan started asking my wife about adverse possession, about tenant rights, about how to legally evict a family member. I looked at Dylan. You thought Eleanor wouldn't tell me. You thought she'd stay quiet, but my wife is smarter than both of you combined. Martinez cleared his throat. Mr. Garrison, unless you have actual evidence of fraud or coercion, I don't see what we're doing here. The documents appear legitimate. The transfers were properly executed. Mr. Baldridge has a right to sell his own property. Garrison gathered his papers. We may need to take this to civil court. Do what you need to do, but the house still closes Thursday. Dylan stood up so fast his chair fell backward. You'll regret this. I promise you'll regret this. Is that a threat? Martinez asked. No, it's a fact. You think you're so smart, old man? You think you've won? You're about to lose your daughter. Forever. She'll never forgive you for this. Never. Maybe not, I said. But she'll remember it. Every time she signs something without reading it. Every time she trusts someone who doesn't deserve it. Every time she thinks about taking something for granted, she'll remember. Dylan grabbed his jacket and stormed out. Garrison followed, shooting me a look that promised this wasn't over. When they were gone, Martinez sat back down. Greg, that threat, you want to file a report? No. He's angry, desperate. People do stupid things when they're cornered. Let him. Everything I've done is legal. Everything I've done is documented. If he wants to escalate, he'll only make things worse for himself. Martinez nodded. What about Olivia? You really never going to talk to her again? I thought about my daughter, about the little girl who used to hold my hand crossing the street, about the teenager who asked my advice about colleges, about the woman who stood silent while her husband humiliated me. I didn't say never. I said not now. Not until she understands what she did. Not until she's ready to own it. That might take a while. I've got time. I left the police station and drove back through town. It was getting dark, street lights coming on, people heading home from work. Normal life, everywhere I looked. Except my life wasn't normal anymore. Couldn't be. Not after this. I pulled into the apartment complex and saw Olivia's car in the parking lot. She was sitting inside, engine off, staring at nothing. I parked next to her and got out, tapped on her window. She looked up. Her eyes were red, swollen. She'd been crying for hours. She rolled down the window. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly. "Please?" "About what?" "Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Dylan told me. He said you gave permission for the business. He said you wanted to help. I didn't know about the loans. I didn't know about the forgery. You have to believe me." "Do I?" "I'm your daughter. You're a woman who chose to believe her husband over her father, who watched him throw me out without saying a word, who signed documents without reading them because it was easier than asking questions. I know I messed up. But Dad, please, don't take the house. That's our whole life. Everything we have is in there." "Everything you have? What do you have, Olivia? Debt, lies, a husband who commits fraud? He made mistakes." "Mistakes? He stole my identity. He forged my signature. He took out loans that could have destroyed my credit, my reputation, my life. Those aren't mistakes. Those are crimes." She was crying again. "I'll leave him. If that's what you want, I'll divorce him. I'll do anything. Just please don't sell the house." "You'll leave him?" "Yes. Today. Right now." "No, you won't." "I will. I promise." "Olivia, you're not listening. You don't want to leave him because it's the right thing to do. You want to leave him because you think it'll manipulate me. Because you think if you sacrifice him, I'll give you what you want. That's not love. That's not integrity. That's just another transaction. That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when Dylan yelled at me in front of the neighbors? Was it fair when you stood there and let him? Was it fair when you took the house I worked 30 years to pay for and treated me like I was the problem?" "I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did. You meant all of it. You chose all of it. And now you have to live with the consequences." She reached through the window, grabbed my hand. "Dad, I can't lose you. You're my father. You're supposed to forgive me. You're supposed to love me no matter what." I pulled my hand back. "I do love you. That's why I'm doing this. Because love means teaching you the truth. And the truth is that actions matter. Choices matter. You can't hurt people and expect them to keep letting you." "So that's it? You're just done with me?" "I'm done enabling you. I'm done being your safety net while you make terrible decisions. I'm done watching you become someone I don't recognize. I'm still your daughter." "Then act like it. Take responsibility. Stop blaming everyone else. Stop making excuses. Figure out who you want to be and then be that person. Not because I'm watching. Not because you're afraid of consequences. Because it's who you are." I walked toward the apartment building. "Dad!" I didn't turn around. "Dad!" I kept walking. Up the stairs, down the hallway, into the apartment. Closed the door. Eleanor was standing by the window. She'd been watching. "She's still out there," Eleanor said softly. "I know." "She's crying." "I know." "Gregory, don't. Please don't." Eleanor came over, put her arms around me. I held on to her and tried not to think about the little girl in the car outside. The one who used to be mine. Wednesday morning, 24 hours before closing. I woke up early, old habit from 40 years of construction work, and found Eleanor already in the kitchen. She had her laptop open, coffee going, and that expression she got when she was planning something. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Making a list." "Of what?" "Everything Dylan owns that's actually yours. Everything he bought with fraudulent loans. Everything that can be legally seized or repossessed." She turned the screen toward me. Spreadsheet. 3 columns. Item, purchase date, funding source. 2 leased vehicles, Mercedes and Audi, down payments made with the Warren Investments credit line. Home entertainment system, $12,000, purchased with a credit card in my name. Furniture, $18,000, same credit card. Olivia's engagement ring, upgrade from original $15,000, same source. "How did you get all this?" "Credit card statements, bank records, receipts. They kept everything, filed it all neatly, probably for tax deductions they'll never be able to claim." "Eleanor." "What? You started this. You might as well finish it. These companies have a right to know their collateral was purchased with fraudulent funds. I looked at the list, looked at my wife. You want me to destroy them completely. I want you to be thorough. You taught me that. Demolition isn't about knocking things down. It's about removing every trace of the structure, every foundation, every support beam. Otherwise, it just comes back. She was right. Of course she was right. The car leases, I said. Who do I call? Mercedes Financial. I have the number. The Audi goes through a different company. I have that too. I made the first call. Spent 20 minutes explaining the situation to a representative named Amanda. Fraud investigation. Police report number. Request for immediate repossession. Sir, this is highly unusual. We'll need to verify. Verify all you want. The police report is public record. The loan documents have my social security number and a forged signature. Your company extended credit based on fraudulent information. I'll need to transfer you to our fraud department. Do it. 3 transfers later, I was talking to a manager named David Chen. He had the kind of voice that suggested he'd heard every story, believed none of them, and enjoyed saying no. Mr. Baldridge, assuming your allegations are accurate, we would need to begin our own investigation. This could take weeks. You have weeks, or you can act now and save yourself the trouble. Either way, I'm not making payments on a car I never authorized. Are you refusing to pay? I'm informing you that the debt is fraudulent. What you do with that information is up to you. Silence. Then, I'll expedite the investigation. If your documentation checks out, we'll proceed with repossession. How long? 72 hours. Make it 24. The property where the vehicle is located will be vacant by tomorrow afternoon. More silence. I'll see what I can do. I hung up and called the Audi leasing company. Similar conversation, similar outcome. By noon, both companies had confirmed they were sending repossession teams. Eleanor checked items off her list. Credit cards next? How many? 4. Combined limit of $90,000. Combined balance of $53,000. All in my name? All with forged signatures on the applications. I cross-referenced with samples of your real signature. Not even close. I called each company, filed fraud reports, requested immediate account closure and investigation. By 3 p.m., all 4 cards were frozen, pending review. My phone rang. Olivia. I sent it to voicemail. It rang again. Dylan. Same. Text message from Olivia. Dad, what did you do? Our cards aren't working. We can't buy groceries. We can't get gas. Please. I put the phone face down on the table. Eleanor watched me. You okay? No. Want to stop? No. Then keep going. I picked up the phone and called the bank handling the business loan. Same speech, same documentation, same result. Immediate freeze on the account. Pending fraud investigation. Text from Dylan. You're finished. I showed Eleanor. She took the phone, screenshotted the message, forwarded it to Officer Martinez with a note. Additional threat from Dylan Warren, for your records. Eleanor. What? He threatened you. That's evidence. Documentation, remember? My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Mr. Baldridge? This is Patricia Hendricks from First National Bank. We spoke last week about the outstanding loan on 2547 Maple Street. I remember. I'm calling to inform you that we've completed our investigation. The signatures on the loan documents don't match your signature on file. We're treating this as fraud. We've notified law enforcement and will be pursuing criminal charges against whoever forged your name. Good. However, Mr. Baldridge, we have a problem. The collateral property, the house, is being sold tomorrow. We have a lien on that property. The sale can't proceed until the lien is resolved. My stomach dropped. What? The property has an outstanding debt of $32,418. That debt must be satisfied before the title can transfer to the new buyers. The debt is fraudulent. I never took out that loan. We understand that. But the lien was filed legally. Until we resolve the fraud investigation and remove the lien, the property is encumbered. How long will that take? Weeks, maybe months. These investigations are complex. I closed my eyes, thought fast. What if the debt is paid? If the outstanding balance is paid in full, we can release the lien immediately. Today? If we receive payment today, yes. The lien release would be filed tomorrow morning before your closing. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. I hung up. Looked at Eleanor. They have a lien on the house. $32,000. The sale can't close unless it's paid. Pay it. That's $32,000. And the house is selling for $890,000. Pay the debt, clear the lien, close the sale, then sue Dylan in civil court to recover the money. You'll win. You have proof the debt was fraudulent. She was right. It was the only way. I called Patricia Hendricks back. I'll pay it. Wire transfer. Today. Mr. Baldridge, you understand this doesn't mean you accepted the debt? You're just paying it to clear the lien? I understand. Send me the wire instructions. She did. I logged into my bank account, the account Dylan didn't know about, the one I'd kept separate for 40 years, and initiated the transfer. $32,418, gone in 30 seconds. Eleanor squeezed my shoulder. You'll get it back. I know. And even if you don't, you're still ahead. $858,000. More than enough. She was right. But it still hurt. Still felt like Dylan had reached into my pocket one more time. Text from Marcus Holland. Greg, I just heard from the title company. There's a lien issue. Are we going to be okay for tomorrow? I texted back. Lien being cleared today. We're good. You're sure? I'm sure. I put the phone down, looked at Eleanor. Almost there. Almost, she agreed. We spent the rest of the afternoon in silence, made sandwiches for lunch, sat by the window watching the parking lot, didn't talk much. There wasn't much left to say. At 4 p.m. my phone buzzed. Email from the leasing company. Repossession scheduled for tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. At 5 p.m., another email from the Audi company. Vehicle recovery team dispatched, ETA tomorrow, 9 a.m. At 6 p.m., confirmation from all 4 credit card companies. Accounts frozen pending fraud investigation. Law enforcement notified. Eleanor made dinner. Spaghetti. Simple. We ate in silence, forks scraping plates, the sound loud in the quiet apartment. You know what tomorrow is? Eleanor said finally. Closing day. No, I mean, yes. But it's also the day everything changes. After tomorrow, there's no going back. This becomes permanent. It's already permanent. Not yet, it isn't. Right now, you could still call Marcus, cancel the sale, return the house to Olivia, make this all go away. I looked at her. Is that what you want? I'm asking what you want. I want them to understand that actions have consequences. I want my daughter to learn that you can't use people and throw them away. I want Dylan to know what it feels like to lose everything. Then tomorrow you get your wish. At 11 p.m. my phone buzzed. Email from First National Bank. Lien release processed. Filed with County Recorder's Office. Title is clear. I showed Eleanor. She smiled. Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. But I couldn't sleep. Lay awake in the dark, thinking about the house. About the years I spent building equity. About the life I thought I was creating for my daughter. About how wrong I'd been. At 3 a.m. I gave up and went to the living room, made coffee, sat by the window and watched the parking lot. Olivia's car was still there. She'd been there all day, all night. Sitting in her car, probably crying, probably hoping I'd change my mind. I didn't go down. At dawn, Eleanor found me still sitting there. Today's the day, she said. Yes. How do you feel? I thought about it. Tried to name the emotion. Settled on the truth. Ready. Thursday morning, closing day, Marcus Holland's office, 3rd floor. The Morrisons were already there, Late 60s, matching gray hair, holding hands. Mr. Baldridge, we can't thank you enough. Linda's already planning the garden. The title company representative spread papers across the table. This should take about an hour. Eleanor signed first. Steady hand. No hesitation. I looked at the address, 2547 Maple Street, 27 years. I signed. The Morrisons signed, still holding hands. Wire transfer should hit within the hour. Congratulations, the house is officially sold. Bank notification came at 1 p.m. Deposit received, $890,000. My phone rang. Olivia. Dad, there are people here, at the house. They said they own it now. They said we have to leave, today. I know. But we didn't know it was today. Where are we supposed to go? That's not my problem, Olivia. We're your family. Family helps family, remember? You helped me right out the door. Please, we have nowhere to go. Someone took Dylan's car this morning, and now we have to leave our house. It was never your house. Dad! Goodbye, Olivia. I hung up. At 3 p.m., knocking on our door. Dylan, I opened it with the chain on. You did this. You ruined my credit. You took my car. You sold our house. No, you took my money, my credit, my house. You stole everything. I'm going to sue you. Go ahead. I've got lawyers, documentation, evidence. What do you have? His jaw clenched. I have your daughter, and she'll never forgive you. Maybe not, but she'll survive. She'll learn. You're alone. I have my wife. I have my integrity. I have money I earned honestly. What do you have? He stared at me, real fear in his eyes. Stay away from us. Gladly. But Dylan, Officer Martinez wants to talk to you about forged signatures, identity theft, maybe more. His face went pale. He turned and walked away. Eleanor came over. It's really happening. Yes. No going back. No. She took my hand. Good. Friday morning, 17 missed calls, 43 texts. Deleted them all. At lunch, Olivia walked into the diner. She looked terrible. Unwashed hair, yesterday's clothes. Can I sit? She asked. No, I said. Please, 5 minutes. Say it standing. We're staying at a motel, Route 9. Dylan's trying to find work, real work. I'm applying everywhere. Good. That's it? Just good? What do you want me to say? I want you to help us. No. Why not? Because help isn't love. Help is enabling. You made choices. You chose Dylan over me. You chose comfort over integrity. Now you live with it. I'm your daughter. And you're 34 years old. You live with your consequences. She looked at Eleanor. Mom, please. Liv, I love you. But your father is right. We've spent 34 years protecting you from consequences. We were wrong. Now we're correcting that mistake. Olivia walked out crying. That night, letter from Officer Martinez. Investigation complete. Evidence shows Dylan Warren forged your signature. District Attorney reviewing charges. You'll need to testify. Eleanor read it. Criminal charges. He could go to prison. Yes. Olivia might be implicated. If she was involved, yes. Can you live with that? I don't know. Ask me after it happens. Saturday morning, pounding on the door. Officer Martinez and Detective Morrison. We arrested Dylan Warren this morning. Identity theft, fraud, forgery, multiple counts. I felt nothing. He's claiming your daughter knew nothing. We need the truth. Was Olivia involved? I don't know, I said honestly. She signed papers. She benefited. But whether she knew the money was illegal, I can't say. At noon, I went to the station, gave my statement, told them everything. And your daughter, what did she know? I don't know. She knew Dylan was starting businesses. She knew money was coming from somewhere. Whether she knew specifically about the fraud, I can't say. That evening, phone call from Dylan's lawyer. Mr. Baldridge, my client has accepted a plea deal, 3 years. In exchange, he's testifying your daughter had no knowledge. They're dropping all charges against Olivia. Why tell me? My client wanted you to know. He said, tell that old man he won. Text from Olivia. I'm moving away, out of state. I can't stay here. I can't look at you. Goodbye, Dad. At 3 a.m., my phone rang. Olivia. Dad, I'm at the motel, packing. Dylan's gone. I'm alone, completely alone. I know. I don't know how to start over. You figure it out, day by day. Please, Dad, help me. No, because giving you money won't help. It'll teach you begging works. I hate you. I can live with that. I'm leaving. Never coming back. Where will you go? Somewhere far. Somewhere I can start over. Good. Go. Build a life you can be proud of. Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, sweetheart. She hung up. Sunday noon. Text from Marcus Holland. The Morrisons are settled in. They wanted me to thank you. Said it's perfect. At 3 p.m., Officer Martinez stopped by. Dylan's officially processed. Begins serving next month. And your daughter's cleared. No charges. Good. I think you did something most fathers can't do. You put principle over comfort. I respect that. That evening, email from Olivia. Dad, I'm at a bus station, leaving in an hour. I hate you right now, but I also understand what you did. Not why, but what. You destroyed my life to teach me a lesson. I don't know if I'm strong enough to start over, but I'm going to try. Not for you, for me. Maybe someday I'll say thank you, but not today. Today I need to be angry. Goodbye, Dad. I love you. I hate you. Both are true. Liv. Eleanor read it, tears streaming. She understands. That night, my phone rang one last time. Dad, the bus is boarding. This is goodbye. Where are you going? West, somewhere with ocean. Somewhere I can breathe. Good luck. Dad? Did you get what you wanted? Are you happy now? I thought about my answer. No, I'm not happy. But I'm at peace. How can you be at peace when your daughter hates you? Because I did what had to be done. And someday, maybe, you'll understand. Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, Olivia. I love you. I know, that's what makes this so hard. She hung up. Final text from unknown number. Pay the rent, or get out. Olivia had sent it. My own words, turned against me. I showed Eleanor. She smiled, sad but real. She's got your fire. She'll be okay. I deleted the message. Put down the phone. I'd won. And it felt exactly like losing. But I'd do it again. Every single time.